Welcome back to the Taqib channel. Today we dig deep into the very foundation of our planet in Chapter 5, Minerals and Rocks. The Earth is composed of various kinds of elements. These elements are in solid form in the outer layer of the Earth and in hot and molten form in the interior. About 98% of the total crust of the Earth is composed of just 8 elements. Let us list them in descending order of weight. 1. Oxygen 46.60%, silicon 27.72%, aluminium 8.13%, iron 5%, calcium 3.63%, sodium 2.83%, potassium 2.59%, magnesium 2.09%. The remaining portion is constituted by titanium, hydrogen, phosphorus, manganese, sulfur, carbon, nickel, and other elements. However, these elements are rarely found exclusively on their own. They combine with other elements to form substances that we call minerals. What is a mineral? So what exactly is a mineral? A mineral is a naturally occurring organic or inorganic substance having an orderly atomic structure and a definite chemical composition and physical properties. A mineral is composed of 2 or more elements. However, sometimes single-element minerals like sulfur, copper, silver, gold, graphite, etc. are also found. The basic source of all minerals is the hot magma in the interior of the Earth. When magma cools, crystals of minerals appear and a systematic series of minerals are formed in sequence to solidify so as to form rocks. Minerals such as coal, petroleum, and natural gas are organic substances found in solid, liquid, and gaseous forms respectively. Physical characteristics of minerals. To identify a mineral, geologists look at specific physical characteristics. Let's break them down in detail. 1. External crystal form. This is determined by the internal arrangement of molecules. They can be cubes, octahedrons, or hexagonal prisms. 2. Cleavage. This is the tendency to break in given directions, producing relatively plane surfaces. This results from the internal arrangement of the molecules. Cleavage may be in one or more directions and at any angle to each other. 3. Fracture. This happens when the internal molecular arrangement is so complex that there are no planes of molecules. The crystal breaks in an irregular manner, not along planes of cleavage. 4. Luster. The appearance of a material without regard to color. Each mineral has a distinctive luster like metallic, silky, glossy, or dull. 5. Color. Some minerals have characteristic colors determined by their molecular structure, like malachite, azurite, chalcopyrite. Others are colored by impurities. For example, quartz can be white, green, red, or yellow purely due to impurities. 6. Streak. This is the color of the ground powder of any mineral. It may be of the same color as the mineral or may differ. For example, malachite is green and gives a green streak, but fluorite is purple or green and gives a white streak. 7. Transparency. Transparent. Light passes through and objects can be seen plainly. Translucent. Light passes through but objects are not seen clearly. Opaque. Light will not pass at all. 8. Structure. This refers to the arrangement of the individual crystals, fine, medium, or coarse-grained, fibrous, separable, divergent, radiating. 9. Hardness. Measured on the Mohs scale from 1 to 10. Talc, gypsum, calcite, fluorite, apatite, feldspar, quartz, topaz, corundum, diamond. 10. Specific gravity. The ratio between the weight of a given object and the weight of an equal volume of water. Major minerals. Let's look at the 6 major mineral groups that form the rocks of the Earth's crust. 1. Feldspar. Silicon and oxygen are common elements in all types of feldspar. Sodium, potassium, calcium, aluminium, etc. are found in specific varieties. Half of the Earth's crust is composed of feldspar. It has light cream to salmon pink color. It is used in ceramics and glass making. 2. Quartz. It is one of the most important components of sand and granite. It consists of silica. It is a hard mineral principally insoluble in water. It is white or colorless and has no cleavage. It is used in radio and radar. 3. Pyroxene. Consists of calcium, aluminium, magnesium, iron, and silica. Pyroxene forms 10% of the Earth's crust. It is commonly found in meteorites. It is usually green or black in color. 4. amphibole. Major elements are aluminium, calcium, silica, iron, magnesium. They form 7% of the Earth's crust. It is green or black and is used in the asbestos industry. Hornblende is a form of amphibole. 5. Mica. Comprises potassium, aluminium, magnesium, iron, silica. It forms 4% of the Earth's crust. It is commonly found in igneous and metamorphic rocks. It is used in electrical instruments. 6. Olivine. Magnesium, iron, and silica are major elements. It is used in jewelry. It is usually a greenish crystal, often found in basaltic rocks. Other minerals like chlorite, calcite, magnetite, hematite, bauxite, and barite are also present in some rocks. Classification of minerals. Minerals are also classified based on their composition into metallic and non-metallic. 1. Metallic minerals. These contain metal content and can be subdivided into 3 types. Precious metals, gold, silver, platinum. Ferrous metals, iron and other metals often mixed with iron to form various kinds of steel. Non-ferrous metals include metals like copper, lead, zinc, tin, aluminium. 2. Non-metallic minerals. These do not contain metal content. Sulfur, phosphates and nitrates are examples. Rocks and petrology. Now we move from minerals to rocks. The Earth's crust is composed of rocks. A rock is an aggregate of one or more minerals. It may be hard or soft and in varied colors. For example, granite is hard, soapstone is soft, gabbro is black and quartzite can be milky white. Rocks do not have a definite composition of mineral constituents. Feldspar and quartz are the most common minerals found in rocks. Petrology is the science of rocks. A petrologist studies rocks in all their aspects: mineral composition, texture, structure, origin, occurrence, alteration, and relationship with other rocks. We group rocks into 3 families based on their mode of formation: igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic. Igneous rocks. Igneous rocks form out of magma and lava from the interior of the Earth. They are known as primary rocks. The word igneous is derived from the Latin word ignis, meaning fire. When magma cools and turns into solid forms, it is called igneous rock. The process of cooling and solidification can happen in the Earth's crust or on the surface of the Earth. We classify them based on texture, depends upon the size and arrangement of grains or other physical conditions of the materials. If molten material cools slowly at great depths, mineral grains may be very large. Sudden cooling at the surface results in small and smooth grains. Intermediate conditions of cooling would result in intermediate sizes of grains. Examples include granite, gabbro, pegmatite, basalt, volcanic breccia, and tuff. Sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rocks derive their name from the Latin word sedimentum, meaning settling. Rocks of the Earth's surface are exposed to denudational agents and are broken up into various sizes of fragments. Such fragments are transported by different exogenous agencies and deposited. These deposits, through compaction, turn into rocks. This process is called lithification. In many sedimentary rocks, the layers of deposits retain their characteristics even after lithification. Hence, we see a number of layers of varying thickness in sedimentary rocks like sandstone and shale. We classify them by their mode of formation. 1. Mechanically formed: sandstone, conglomerate, limestone, shale, loess. 2. Organically formed: geyserite, chalk, limestone, coal. 3. Chemically formed: chert, limestone, halite, potash. Metamorphic rocks. Metamorphic rocks comes from the word metamorphose, meaning change of form. These rocks form under the action of pressure, volume, and temperature, PVT changes. Metamorphism occurs when rocks are forced down to lower levels by tectonic processes or when molten magma rising through the crust comes in contact with the crustal rocks. Metamorphism is a process by which already consolidated rocks undergo recrystallization and reorganization of materials within original rocks. We distinguish between 2 types of processes. 1. Dynamic metamorphism: mechanical disruption and reorganization of the original minerals within rocks due to breaking and crushing without any appreciable chemical changes. 2. Thermal metamorphism: the materials of rocks chemically alter and recrystallize. This has two subtypes. Contact metamorphism. Rocks come in contact with hot intruding magma and lava. Regional metamorphism. Rocks undergo recrystallization due to deformation caused by tectonic shearing together with high temperature or pressure. Structures in metamorphic rocks. Foliation or lineation. The arrangement of minerals or grains in layers or lines within metamorphic rocks. Banding. Sometimes minerals or materials of different groups are arranged into alternating thin and thick layers appearing in light and dark shades. Rocks displaying this are called banded rocks. Examples include gneisoid, granite, syenite, slate, schist, marble, and quartzite. The rock cycle. Rocks do not remain in their original form for long but undergo transformation. This continuous process is the rock cycle. 1. Igneous rocks are primary rocks. All other rocks form from them. 2. Igneous rocks can change into metamorphic rocks. 3. Fragments derived from igneous and metamorphic rocks form sedimentary rocks. 4. Sedimentary rocks can themselves turn into fragments or turn into metamorphic rocks. Finally, crustal rocks, igneous, metamorphic or sedimentary, can be carried down into the mantle, interior of the earth through subduction, where they melt down due to increasing temperature and turn into molten magma, essentially starting the cycle all over again. From the elements in the crust to the dynamic cycle of rock formation, the earth beneath our feet is constantly changing. Thank you for watching this detailed breakdown of Chapter 5. Stay tuned to the Takif channel for the next chapter in our geography series. If you found this strategic overview helpful, please like, subscribe, and share this journey with your fellow aspirants. If you have any questions regarding what we have discussed today, drop a comment below. I will be personally addressing your doubts to ensure your conceptual clarity is absolute. Until next time, keep studying, stay curious, and I will see you in the next lesson.